Welcome back to Flooring Africa. My name is Barry and we are here in our studio in Northgate Estate, Cape Town, South Africa. Recently we had Jesse from Finfloor, one of our partners, and Jesse came in and we explored why plank selection and how you lay out your planks with laminates, LVTs, SPCs, engineered. You need to pay attention to the overlap, the pattern repeat, why this is so important, and it takes your installation from an average Joe to great. You don't have to do these things. They're not structurally integrous to the floor, but they really take your game to the next level. We're going to get into this. Welcome to the nightmare of installation, or let's put it in another term, how you can differentiate your installation end results from the mass pack through to elevating your game, charging a little bit more for your labor component.
Correct.
And that's all what we want to do. Like, ultimately as installers, we want to have fun and passion and be excited about the floors that we're putting down and be proud that when we walk away, people are going to notice that floor and we're going to get that referral marketing. There's a whole lot of average installers out there, and we're not about average, we're about great installers.
That's it.
Yeah.
Actually taking the product to where it actually deserves to be, instead of having someone. I've had some terrible fitting experiences in my past where I've had to go out to site, and you know, like you said, it's a DIY product. A lot of people sell it as a DIY product, and then you've got the Mrs. Jones that comes in and says, you know what, my father's a very handy man, I'm sure you can do it. And you know, you try and help them out in the showroom as a further bonus of service. But sometimes, you know, it's not as easy as what people think it to be. And I've come onto site where you don't even have a stagger. You've got planks butted right next to each other, square.
We see those as well. And this is the science of, and this is I think it's a really important factor where, you know, the products look like they're DIY. You know, it's very easy to click two planks together on the dining room table. But it's all those peripheral science, the knowledge base that you apply to all those unseen things that really a good installer, that's what he's going to be executing day in and day out. And that's why they're worth investing in. Correct. A good installer is worth the extra rate because he's going to safeguard the investment and he's going to make your investment look fantastic. So I think like today, what we want to show is some common mistakes that the industry kind of makes. There's some quirks and tweaks to it that aren't so obvious. And I think like one of the main ones, like which you've demonstrated over here, is like an H pattern, where we actually look and we align the small, short header joints, and they all align, and then the floor runs past the doorway, and then the pattern gets thrown out.
Shifted slightly, yeah.
And it shifts out, and then it's not all perfectly aligned, and like to align the planks really takes a lot of time. It's not really practical, and it looks fake. It looks like a tiled floor, like a cementitious tiled floor.
That's it.
And here we're going for the wood look. We're trying to impersonate real wood, yet we're trying to install it like a cementitious tile.
Correct.
And I would say, in my opinion, if you're chasing that wood look, let's try and make it look like real wood as much as possible. And that waterfall staircase, I go on forums around the world, and you know, we all have industry where it layers up into different levels and grades of floor installers and their expertise. And I'm sorry, when it's H pattern or waterfall, the guys get slated, all right? So when it comes to a random waterfall where you can see like there's a 3-step here or a 2-step here, but it's mixed up, kind of acceptable. The installer, to install a staircase pattern, like he's layering it in layer by layer by layer, and you can run about 3, 4, maybe 5 rows at a time.
Correct, yes.
It speeds up his installation time considerably. But it's because he hasn't refined the random pattern as well. All right? And that speeding up of the installation is very short-lived. It's this very short component of the floor's lifespan. And it's very noticeable. And the same mistake that the guys do with the H pattern when they're trying to align those headers. When you do the pattern, the waterfall system, they also try and align them, or they don't, and then all of a sudden the floor runs into another dog leg of the room and the pattern falls out of sync. So you have the ladder pattern or the staircase pattern happening for the first half of the room, and then it goes out and then it shifts into another layout.
That's it. From a 300 now to a 400, or from the step.
And that's why if you just stick to the random, you actually get the most consistent results, the least amount of wastage. You can actually really maximize that end aesthetic, which is going to be the longest component of the floor's life. A really important factor to take into account here is also the plank selection. So when we are selecting our planks, it's not just, because you can see the guys, they're running, it's like, time is money, money is time, and you're getting paid per square meter, and you've got to get it down as quickly as you can to get to the next job or whatever the story is. And they just one plank at a time, the one plank goes ding, 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 like, or should I say, the one box gets opened, and it's just like those planks go down in that step.
Correct, yes.
And sometimes the boxes have a full set of dark planks, or they have a full set of planks that have the knot in the same spot. Correct. Because how it works, how the production assembly works, they're not sorting it out. The rule of thumb is that you always open 3 or 4 boxes and you're pulling random, and it's a creative expression of the installer that when you are laying those planks, that you are shaking up the variety of the decor.
Correct. Not to get the same decor in the same place as what we've illustrated.
Well, we've intentionally done that over here, and we're going to show you. But like, we've intentionally put a repetition of the plank in a step format, and this is a common mistake that a lot of installers are doing. Correct. And while we can understand from an installer perspective at time and money and everything else, when the homeowner, the person who's actually living on the floor, starts seeing it, it cheapens the floor. It really does. And that brings you into the field of the mass market where everybody's slicing on price and the installation rate drops. But as soon as you elevate your game and you are being conscious of how the long-term experience of the floor is going to be in selecting the shades of the different planks, making sure that there's not that plank repetition, and making sure that the randomized pattern is as random as possible, getting it as close to real wood as possible. I think that's really critical. If we can just get the message across that a competent installer pays attention to these details right from the onset. It's not a matter of trying to figure it out as they go along, just because it's a builder who can do the plumbing, the electrics, and click together a floor. Or it's the DIY enthusiast who's a rocket scientist by day and he's going to come and click planks together by night. There's a reason why good installers are not necessarily cheap, but they are good value. It's in the detail, it's your personal choice, but hey, if you're Plank Squad and you want to take things to the next level, you're going to pay attention to the detail. If you want to hear more about these little details that are going to take your flooring installation from good to great, stay tuned, subscribe, hit the bell, share some love. Come on, people. We want to be awesome in our pursuit for excellence.